Right. So the title of this video is going to be what most people miss about manifestation. If you are trying to manifest a specific thing into your life, the reality is that you are going to encounter experiences that are blocking you from that specific thing. The universe, God, does not work through giving you what you want. It works by giving you what you need. And that's the reality of it. So once you start wanting to manifest a specific material thing into your life, be it a car or a job or whatever it is, what you are putting forward into this energy spectrum that is life is the energy of neediness, is the energy. It could be another energy, but do you realize what I'm talking about here? If you feel like you need a specific thing to survive or to be able to be happy, what you are projecting outwards is not that specific thing, but is your energy of wanting a specific thing. Yes, you may even feel like you're in abundant mode, and that is very, very good. That is a sign that I'm talking about that feeling of flowiness, that feeling that you have when you realize that you have nothing to worry about. When you're in that state, that's perfect. I don't even want to label it perfect. You're just living life as it is. But you'll see that when you are in that state, you are not thinking about a specific car, a specific job. You are actually okay with where you are right now. And this is the point that is the whole point of this video, is to bring that perspective to you, of the realization that there is no material thing that will give you what you're longing for. And so what's going to happen when you project that energy of longingness, of needing that some specific thing that you don't have in this current specific moment? The universe, God, reality is going to bring to you whatever experience it is that you need to experience in order to realize that for yourself. And this is why I say that this is what most people miss about manifestation, because I see that a lot of people are kind of stuck in the idea, in the narrow-minded idea that, you know, I want to get to a specific course in college. I don't know if that specific college is going to accept my enrollment, my application, and I want to manifest that. Good. You may even get it, but you may also feel like that's not enough for you. You may also feel that that is not actually fulfilling you like you thought it was, and that is very good. That is very good, because you are getting in touch with that movie that you can get in touch with, the movie of your own predestined life. What the hell does that mean? So here's what I'm talking about here. Once you go through a number of experiences that contradict what you are trying to experience, the essence that you can take from this process is why am I not So you're going to ask yourself some questions, right? And one of them is, why am I not actually getting that thing that I want? And in the background, as something that you can tap into, is the idea that God is not giving you what you want, but what you think you want, but is giving you what you could say your soul desires, or even what you need, which is an experience that will allow you to realize for yourself that you don't even need what you think you need, right? And again, this does not mean that your needs won't be met. This does not mean that you are not going to get that job. In fact, you may even get it. But realize that it's God that's making the decision here. Say, for example, I am in my place right now, I'm at home, and I don't know, I feel like I need to get another job. I feel like I need to make more money. So where does that need comes from? What don't I have right now? Like, what needs of mine are not being met that I feel like I need that? And one of the answers that you may find for this question that you ask yourself is, you may come to the realization that you are actually perfectly fine where you are. But see, our mind tends to start going on a process of comparing itself with the perceived status that other people have, and it realizes so perfectly the other people's, or assumes other people's perspective about ourselves, that it sets some goals that we may not even feel aligned with in our most deepest self about. But then we identify so much with that process that our mind is doing, that we set some goals and we set some things that we want because we think that we are going to be satisfied with that. And there are many ways this can play out. One of them is you get what you want to realize you don't need it, to realize that you're actually brought more chaos or more responsibilities or more, less peace of mind. And so what I'm pointing towards here is not that you're wrong for trying to get that thing that you need. On the contrary, I'm just here as a reminder that you have something in yourself that also allows you to remind for yourself that you don't need everything, that you don't need to be like other people, that you don't need to play out the same mistakes of others because you feel like if you don't, you are not going to feel belonged, you're not going to feel loved, worthy. And so throughout this whole process, you can watch yourself acting in that way more and more. This is why people say that meditation or yoga or whatever is good for you, because even though you are in that path of going after the material things that you think you need, there is some part of you that also realizes that you're already good here, that in the present moment, and I know this sounds so cliche, but that's true, you already have everything you need. And this is the energy that you want to be projecting onto the world. The energy of self sovereignty. Is that a thing? Is that a word? I don't know. What I'm pointing here is, and so do you realize that this is not something that we actually do? You can have the will to do some meditation to grow your consciousness, which will help you perceive this thing that I'm talking about. ultimately, you're not the person that's running the show. Actually, no one is. No one is. God is. And I'm not talking about God like a abstract concept of a bearded man in the sky. No, I'm talking about the fact that you already know that everything is God and that you are God and that I am God. And I am not talking about this in a arrogant way in the slightest. What I'm pointing here is the fact that there is some energy at play here that is so much more intelligent than you could ever conceive what intelligence is about. And this thing is working, is developing, is unfolding. And this thing is going to bring you what you need. It always leads you to an experience that you need to have in order to realize for yourself that you are good, that it's okay, you know? And again, I'm not talking about the fact that I'm not trying to sound like bypassing of your pain or your wants, because the point of this video is not to make you feel bad about wanting the things you want. Everybody wants things. Everybody wants more comfort. Everybody wants more freedom, and that requires money, right? So it's fine to want that, but how much of that wantness, how much of that neediness are you actually letting bleed into your current perspective of reality, of the present moment, right? How many times have you not been present, for example, with your parents or your family, your friends, or whatever, or even in nature alone? How many times have you lost the possibility of experiencing the beauty of right now because you feel like you need something that is outside of right now? And it becomes very clear that once you are in that state of wanting what you don't have, what you are doing is you're creating a separation between what you are and what life is right now and what you think life should be. And that stops you from perceiving the beauty of the present moment. See, when I talk about these things, I tend to always go back to the same subject in using different words because it is my attempt here to not try to use so many buzzwords, right? Because talking about the present moment and you are good and everything's fine is it can sound so bypassing. And my point here is you it's okay to want things, but again, wanting those things can lead us to a path that God will prescribe to us to make we realize that we might not even want something so intensely as we realized. And so there is no point in there's no point in feeling bad about it as well, because again, that part of you that you already have within you knows this stuff. It knows that it knows that what we think we want is not actually something that we are going to live or experience. And that part knows that it's all good because it knows that that is something that we only think we want. Ultimately, to remember that part of ourselves deeper and deeper day by day could be something to aspire for. But again, even the realization of that part of ourselves, like striving for that, may be what is preventing you from experiencing right now, from being able to feel your current emotions, right? Because what's going to happen once we start trying to manifest things and we start, hitting bottom and hit rock bottom, right? What's going to happen is all these feelings are going to come up, and maybe you realize that you're trying to get something that is out of your current reality because you can't deal with the pain, you can't deal with the feelings that are coming up. And so you can see this as shadow work or self-inquiry, but reality is life or God is going to prescribe you experiences that will make you inevitably need to look inwards and to process these deep-rooted traumas and just wrongful uh, beliefs about the world, about yourself. And so, in a sense, you are manifesting what you want. You just don't know what that is exactly. You are manifesting your own healing because that's what you're unconsciously longing for. And when I say healing, I say merging with the divine, with God. Because once you reach that state, you realize that after you've gone through some healing and some process, you can reach a normal state of allowance of the present moment, right? And so everything that comes after that is a gift. And when I say reach a state, I'm not separating myself from you. I'm not talking that I reached a specific state where I cannot go back. No, because what I'm talking about here is that state that you reach is not like some people are here, another person is here. No, everybody is going through their processes one way or another, but this state that I'm talking about is a healing state. It's something that makes you realize that it's something that makes you say or think like, okay, I am in this state of allowance. I am feeling like I can ease into the present moment, but I also know that sooner or later, maybe my mind is going to try and hijack the experience and is going to try to make it bigger than what is, whether for good or for bad, is going to get inflated. And I'm okay with that because I can realize that. I can be perceptive of my animal nature, and it's fine if I have to go to that through that process again, because I know that in the end what that process is going to lead me to is a deeper realization of myself. And I think that's what I have to say on this video. If you like this content, if you want, you can comment it, ideas or your experience. I'm gonna be happy to hear it. Okay, see you next video.